Alright, today I'm installing the Curt Spectrum brake controller into my 2021 Tahoe. The Curt part number is 51170. That's came directly from the folks at the Chevy dealership. Comes with the controller, which is right here, the manual control knob, which is right here, and the wiring harness, which is right here. First thing I'm going to say is don't immediately connect the ends to the manual controller to the plug when you first get it, like I did, because you're going to end up having to take it back out if you do that. Plan is to mount it right here. Hopefully it should look pretty good there. What I can say is that it looks like Chevy is very adamant about you not getting to the wiring harness. It's necessary. What I had to do was take this panel off. So if this is the panel that went right here. Just sort of pop that off, and then do the same thing with the panel that goes right here. Just sort of pop it off as well. You're going to definitely need to take both of those two off because it's just a pain to get to it. And then the wiring harness is back in there. So what you're looking at right here, these 4 wires right here, that's the harness you have to get to. You can see that it's got white tape and paper around it. That's the only way that I was able to see it. It actually ends up being taped to, I don't know if you can see the two big thick sets of wires, but it was actually taped to that back one, almost entirely out of view and wrapped with electrical tape. Just an absolute monster to get to. So good luck with that. But when you take these 2 panels off, just look for the white paper. I ended up having to get some wire snips and coming up through the bottom, and putting one hand through this hole right here and then coming up through the bottom, getting the snips around the electrical tape and cutting it enough to be able to pull those apart. Apparently some Tahoes do have wiring harnesses already installed. Lucky you if you're one of those people. Mine doesn't. Mine just has the 4 cut off wires here. So I'm gonna have to wire those up in order to connect them to the controller. So that's what I'm going to try to do next. Okay, after a comically ridiculous amount of time, I finally have the wires untaped from back in there. If you were the person at the Chevy plant who is responsible for applying tape to the end of these wires, congratulations to you for doing a mind-numbingly good job and making it incredibly difficult to get to those wires and get them ready to be plugged in. But anyway, here we are now. It's going to be plugged into this. This is the controller or the plug-in that came with the Curt unit. So what we have here is the description for what the wires that go to where. Here you have your blue wire, which is your trailer output. That goes to this blue wire in the top left. Your battery feed here is the red wire. It goes to the black wire in the bottom left here. Your blue and white wire is the brakes right there, and that goes to the red wire here, bottom row, 3rd from the left. And then your white wire here is the ground, and it goes to the ground right here, bottom right. So I'm going to have to snip these off and connect them up since I don't have a harness in here. Do that next. Alright, so I finally have the wiring done. Obviously, ideally, I'd solder those rather than just have the twists on there, but I don't have a soldering gun, number 1, and number 2, getting to them would be quite an interesting thing. Anyway, so I've got the wires connected up there, and then they run. I just jammed the wiring, what connects to the controller back sort of that way. You can maybe see it, I don't know. And then I've got it coming out right here. The plan is to mount the controller unit sort of right there, as far back as possible, and then that right there is what connects to the manual controller. So it actually didn't, this controller didn't actually come with any way to mount this, which seems kind of ridiculous to me. It's got holes for you to mount it, but it didn't come with any mounting hardware. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, fortunately I've got some self-drilling screws, so plan is to just pop that right there. So I'm going to be doing that next. Alright, so now I have got the control unit mounted. That's it right there. That's the plug right there that connects the wiring harness to the Tahoe itself. And it's mounted right up there with a couple self-drilling screws. You can see, I don't know if you can see through here in the back, but right there, yeah, right there's those two screws where it's coming back. You can see right there that it's not going to hit anything, so that's kind of nice. But that's where the two mounting screws go through the piece of plastic there. So next up is going to be attempting to mount the manual controller right here. Going to have to drill a hole, two holes I guess, one to hold it, and then one to send the wire through. That's what this is right here, so I'm going to be trying that out next. Hopefully it goes well. Alright, so I've got the manual control mounted. Relatively straightforward. You just got to drill a couple holes in the dash right there, and then use the mounting plate. So that's all set. I think it looks pretty good. It looks basically looks like factory to me. So so that comes out through the back here, and then you've got the wiring here that now needs to be installed into this connector, which will then plug into that controller right there. The instructions that come with the controller are right here. They tell you exactly how to wire it up, so just follow the instructions there, from left to right, white, green, brown, blue, black, and red, just like that. And then once you've got them all set up, then you can plug it in. So I'm going to go ahead and do the wiring now. Alright, so I've got the connector all hooked up, and it is going to be plugged into the wireless controller right there. So this just gets plugged in to right there, and that should complete the installation. Once that's done, I'll just put the cover that goes right here and the cover that goes right here. I'll put those back on, and as you can see, that's way up out of the way, so I don't have to worry about hitting my leg on it or anything like that. So I think that's going to work out pretty nicely. Alright, this is the finished product. Got the manual controller right there. I have all the trim pieces back on. I'm pretty happy with it. Here's the view from the driver's side seat. It's pretty easily accessible from right here when you're sitting down, which is what you would want if you're in an emergency situation. So that's it. For the most part, it wasn't horrific. Finding the wiring harness on the back underneath the dash was horrific. It was awful. Getting at it was awful, and stripping the wires so that I could wrap them up and connect them to, or unwrap them and connect them to the controller was also horrific. But once you got past those bits, it wasn't too bad. So hopefully you'll find the first couple steps easier than I did. But in any case, that's what it looks like, and good luck to you.